something. Everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. Mm, I love that song. When I'm driving down the road, I was just talking to one of my clients, Christine, and I was telling her how if I'm going through something, I put that song on. Everybody's going through something because we are not alone. When you're in the struggle, when you're in the strength, there's other people in the same thing. Interesting, isn't it? But the cool part is that we can stay lifted. Now, I'm going to share something with you in a very short period of time about this drug. Now, I've talked about it in spurts. I even had a physician attempt to call me out, a fitness expert attempt to call me out. And they were so wrong what they were attempting because they're missing some of the science. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to me, my name is Robert Ferguson. You're a nutritionist. I'm a nutritionist. I've been doing this since 1995, helping people not only lose weight, but improve overall health. And we've been doing it from a place of evidence-based and clinically proven. We have 2 trials behind us, and we're getting ready to do our third one. And then there's going to be multiple ones. So Memphis, what's up, people? We're coming. Now, I haven't looked recently, but I was supposed to do something in Memphis a few years back before the pandemic. And then we had the pandemic and everything got pushed off. But today we had one of the most amazing meetings. So as a nutritionist, as a guy who cares, that's why I share. So my name again, Robert Ferguson. If you want to learn more about me, go to dietfreelife.com. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over and visit. And make sure you hit that bell, subscribe, so that when we post anything, you will at least be aware of it, and then you can listen to it at your convenience. Now, what I'm going to share with you is it could get a little scientific, but I just want you to understand. But the first part, if you can't stay long, I think we're going to find that some of this stuff pretty interesting. Because there's this thing called Ozempic Face that's been all over the news. And then there's Wegovy Face, and then there's Mounjaro Face, and these are these weight loss drugs that are based on this peptide that I'm very knowledgeable and familiar with called GLP-1. Okay, that's glucagon-like peptide, polypeptide 1. And in our body, we have this peptide. And this peptide is responsible for a whole bunch of cool things. And the drug is to mimic that, and that's where the word agonist. So it acts like. So GLP-1 agonist, it acts like. And when I read the articles, what's interesting is how I would say 80% of the articles that I'm reading about this are totally wrong. 1,000%, they're regurgitating it wrong. So a lot of these writers, obviously, they don't know. They're just reading what the pharmaceutical companies are saying how they should explain it, but they're wrong. And when you understand how GLP works in the body, same as GIP, which I'm not going to go into that one because that's more based on the foods that we eat. And when you read articles that are just totally wrong, that's an example of how people read it. Then they just assume that that's correct, and then they start regurgitating it to everybody else, and then the lie just becomes a lie. And then I'm the one that sounds like crazy because I'm not saying it the way they understood it, because the way they're understanding it, the way it was read, was absolutely wrong. Now, Elon Musk has talked about using this drug. Chandler has talked about using this drug. A whole bunch of other celebrities have talked about using the drug. And Ozempic is the one that's been talked about the most. It was created primarily for diabetics, but when you increase the dosage, it's the exact same molecule that is working in Ozempic that they use in Wegovy. You just consume more of it, and then the weight losses increase significantly. So let's just read some of this stuff. Okay, so I'm reading out of the New York Post. If this is new to you, and let me just jump forward. This Ozempic face or Wegovy face, it was first discovered by dermatologists. And what happens is when people start coming in again, and you start noticing the exact same things, people would walk in because they want fillers. They're aging quickly. Their face is sagging. And the doctors are like, are you taking Ozempic? And then the person like, hey, how did you know? Well, you got Ozempic face. Okay. Now, for any of you who are thinking about taking this drug, I mean, come on. Like, we're doing the 8-week fat loss challenge right now, and I'm watching people eat and they're losing weight. I just got off the phone with one of my clients, Christine. She's down about 40 pounds. I was on a call with Pat in Arizona, and congratulations, Pat. Today, she's down 65 pounds. Eating, using food. So this is the part that's mind-blowing to me. People will go and spend $1,300 a month to take a drug that is 100% creating disruption in this thing called the gut microbiome, because that's where these peptides are located. And they don't even know the long-term effects. And when you look at the side effects, it's not like one or two. It's like a lot. And we have no idea what life is going to be like 10 years from now, because once you start taking this drug, you're probably going to have to keep taking this drug. Not all people, but most people. And even when you look at the scientific papers, which I read, there is weight loss, and some people can lose a good amount. Same as the Diet for Life methodology. When you learn how to eat, you can lose a good amount. The difference is you don't got to get off no drug, because you're still going to eat. With this drug, you're creating disruption that could show up potentially various cancers, like thyroid cancer is associated with this drug. Various cancers are associated with it. We're talking dysbiosis, major disruption of the gut. So imagine, and now we're talking about the Ozempic and Wegovy Face. I mean, really, people, think about it. Now, I understand if someone's like new to me and they're not familiar with our methodology, and we're working on changing that, because I have a lot of ambassadors, a lot of coaches. We're getting the word out, and the movement is happening. And today, what took place with our next clinical trial, I am pumped. Pumped, because no one is doing what we're doing. There is not one food prescription anywhere that is doing what we're doing, and we are already proven. So again, I mean, I can start really just pushing what we do. That's not my goal. I really want to talk about these drugs, and I want to share with you what is really going on that I would say 99.5% of physicians aren't even aware of. Because I had a few conversations in the last week with some of these physicians, to include bariatric surgeons, and they were all like, huh? And they didn't know. Well, now they know. But guess what? It ain't going to change the fact they're going to prescribe it, because they're making money. When people are making money, I don't care if the supplement causes all kind of problems. They're going to read right past that. There's not a lot of people who are putting your interests as a priority, and that's why you want to be informed. Because if you just get caught up in the hype of what everybody's talking about, oh, well, this supplement, well, take this, and it'll drop this, and you'll lose this, and you'll feel this much. I mean, come on. When are we going to talk about food? And it's so sad, because most people are just not even, they're so excited about the promise that they can't even use their common sense. And I'm not saying everybody. Some of you are like, thank you, Robert. That makes it yeah, amen. I'm with you, brother. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. I've been doing this so we talk about weight loss. We talk about reversing type 2 diabetes. We talk about improving overall health, lowering cholesterol, triglycerides, etc. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm really good at it. And I can get people there. You want to talk about being a pro athlete and being in the best shape, getting on the Olympic team? I've done all of that for my clients. I've done it all. Like, tell me what I have. I mean, I can't really even think of something I haven't done. If you want to do a figure show, I've done that. Like, what do you want? So in this game, I've done a lot. And I know a lie when I see it. And this drug is a lie. Okay. And a lot of people are falling prey to it. So this is what it is. And you've probably heard this, but let's just look at one of the drugs, Ozempic. Right, and they all kind of work the same. The active ingredient with Ozempic and Wegovy is semaglutide, and with some of the other ones, there's a different tide, but they basically all kind of do the same. Some are a little bit more effective than others, but it's all based on the GLP-1 agonists. Okay, So you inject once a week in the stomach, thigh, or arm. And okay, before I even go there, because I have some of my clients who I actually encourage to take Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy. Yes, yes, not for weight loss, but for where they are in their situation as it pertains to uh, diabetes. There is definitely some people I would say yes, do it, but that would maybe be about 1% of the people, because all the people that I helped reverse their type 2 diabetes in 2022, none of them were on any medications. We got off of all medications and we did that. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. It says Ozempic and sister drug Wegovy are comprised of semaglutide, a compound that helps the pancreas release the right amount of insulin when blood sugar levels are high. That is a lie. That is not how it works. I'm gonna tell you how that is not how it works. This is New York Post. That's a lie. It's not about insulin. It has more to do with inhibiting glucagon, which also comes from the pancreas. So this is a lie. It's a lie. And I'm reading, let's see here, from Health Day, today, on the news channel. They're all saying the same thing, and it's a lie. It's a lie. And I can show you. I have the real data here. And remember, I've been studying this for a really long time. Well, a good 10 years. So when I see lies, it's a lie. Then it goes on to say that Wegovy has been shown to help reduce body weight by 15%, while Ozempic helps users shed about 10% of their total mass. Total mass, what does that mean? Does that include lean muscle tissue? Does that mean bone? So when we talk about mass, that's what it says. Now they could be lying, but again, I read the study, so I know exactly what the weight loss were, and the majority of the people, I think it was like 66%, 2/3 of the people, when they got off of the drugs, they gained all their weight back and then some. Now, the thing that no one is talking about is what takes place inside of the fat cell. And that's the scary part. Because if you talk to Kelsey Chandler or Elon Musk, with all that money, he doesn't even know this. So all the people around him did not tell him this. If I was with him at dinner, and this has happened many times, I'll be at dinner with some celebrity or whatever, we're talking in the hot tub or wherever we are, in the hot tub, wherever we are, I'll say something and they almost get offended because they're like, why didn't I know this? I'm paying all these people and they didn't tell me. I'm sorry, but you spend a lot of money. And it's not that everybody knows everything, because I learn things all the time. And Khloe and Kim Kardashian, I guess there was claims that they took it. So allegedly they took it to lose weight, which again, I would say is really sad, but it looks like they pushed back and says no. Regardless, there's a lot of people running out to get this drug, and it's so sad. And this is why I find it really sad, because the other day I was looking at, I think it was Psychology Today, and there was a study done or an assessment where they came out and said about 85% of adults in the U.S., so it was all about the U.S., so I would assume it's the same everywhere else, have a low self-esteem, or it's not where it could be, meaning they don't love themselves. And when you don't love yourself, you're willing to compromise your health because you haven't lost it yet. You're willing to do things just to get the weight off. You really don't care. I mean, a lot of women, because I've worked in recovery centers, will do meth to keep the weight off. And then they get addicted and their life is turned upside down. When I was in France, a lot of women today are smoking cigarettes nonstop because they won't eat if they're smoking cigarettes, regardless of how it's going to destroy their voice and cause them to age and mess them up and cause heart disease and all kind of other health problems. At the moment, they don't have those problems. So, hey, I want to stay skinny, so I'm going to smoke. Self-esteem. At the end of the day, a lot of people are just really, really battling with their self-esteem. Another thing I'm reading here says retired Wall Street executive Beth Rubin, in this New York Post article, she lost 19 pounds after taking a drug. You know how many people I have lost that have lost 19 pounds? Hey, Brett Hilton, you just lost 136 pounds. She lost 19 pounds and put her life at risk. Okay, 19 pounds. But she told the Post last year that she was plagued by acid reflux and heartburn for the first 5 to 6 weeks. I mean, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to take a drug and then have to deal with acid reflux and heartburn, or vomiting all the time, or runny stool, nauseated. And all they got to do, they can do our challenge. You see how, I mean, how mind-blowing this is? If everybody just knew how to eat. So again, people are paying up to $1,300 coming out of their pocket for this drug. And it's just whatever. It really just frustrates me. So here I am looking at today. It says Ozempic dieters who use scarce diabetes drug could face side effects. Yeah, the side effects are everywhere. Okay, let's go over the side effects. The common side effects of these drugs: anxiety, bloating, blurred vision, chills, cold sweats, confusion, constipation, cool, pale skin, coughing, darkened urine, depression. Depression. Where's this GLP-1? Oh, it's in the gut microbiome. What else is also produced in the gut microbiome? Serotonin. Up to 93% of all serotonin is produced in your gut. And we're manipulating and creating disruption in the gut with this drug. Why aren't they telling people this? Depression is a side effect. Diarrhea. Oh, that takes place in the gut. Difficulty swallowing, dizziness, fast heartbeat, fever, headache, increased hunger. Indigestion, nausea, nervousness, pain, seizures, skin rash, vomiting, and Ozempic face, Wegovy face, face sagging, looking old. And now for the rest of your life, as you created all that disruption, you got to go get fillers now, and more fillers, just to look normal or look healthy. Actually, I need that. Actually, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. Everybody's going through something. Okay, I'm almost where we need to be. And if you disagree with me, anyone who catches this, feel free to comment. Correct me. I would love that, because then if I'm sharing information that's not accurate, then I can start sharing information that's accurate. But I don't think you're going to be able to correct me on this one. Okay. So let me see if there's any questions before I dive in and explain to you exactly what happens. Okay. Joyce Hicks, what's happening? Joyce is in the challenge right now. Who else is in the challenge? If you're on YouTube or Facebook, shout out. Oh, there's Shelly. Shelly, I owe you a call. It's been an interesting day. I will call you. But I'm going to go slow. And the next time I talk about these drugs, I'm going to show visuals so you can see the diagram of what's taking place inside the gut. Okay. Now, GLP-1. This is what it is. So when you go inside, when food goes into your stomach, it eventually gets into your small intestine. And in the small intestine, you have these cells that naturally secrete this GLP-1. And when GLP-1 is up, which if you ate pure fat, it'll cause it to go up. If you ate nuts, it'll cause it to go up. If you ate protein, it'll cause it to go up. If you made a smoothie with whey protein powder, it'll cause GLP-1 to go up. So these drugs are all about causing GLP to go up. So if GLP-1 is up, what are the benefits? Number one, it inhibits glucagon. Glucagon is a hormone that comes from the alpha cell. Insulin comes from the beta cell, both coming from the pancreas. And when glucagon is up, that means your sugar in your blood is up. So if GLP-1, when it's up, causes glucagon to be down or it's inhibited, then that means your sugars are inhibited. So it's not necessarily the insulin that's causing your sugars to go down. is the fact that glucagon is down because of one of the impacts or outcomes of GLP-1 being up. That's a good thing. Okay, so if sugars are down, that's good. The second thing that it does is that your brain senses GLP-1 when it's elevated. And so it then creates a signal effect where you feel satiated, meaning you're not hungry. You can go, these people, some people are saying they can go all day. They don't even want food. They look at it and they don't even want food. So from a satiety standpoint, when GLP-1 is up, you're just not hungry. Another thing that when GLP-1 is up, it activates your brown fat cells. So you have brown fat, beige fat, white fat. And brown fat, when we're babies, we have more of it. And as we mature in life, we have less brown fat. And brown fat is highly metabolic. So you're burning way more calories. So that's another good thing, right? So glucagon is inhibited. The brown fat is activated. Okay, so that's two positives. When GLP, so insulin sensitivity is better, meaning glucose again is getting inside of the cells much more efficiently, especially for some people who may be having a little bit of insulin resistance. Okay, so we have satiety, we have brown fat cells, we have glucagon, that's 3, and then it slows down what they call gastric emptying. So when you eat food, if GLP-1 is elevated, food gets through your system much slower. So it's inside of you for a longer period of time. Everything is moving a little bit slower, which is one of the reasons why you're just not hungry. There's no desire for it. And again, that's a positive, right? And I believe at that point, yeah, that's the main things. Now, here's the part that nobody's talking about. So when you look at fat cells, you have two types of fat cells. You have a big fat cell, the ones that can swell up and get really big. And then you have the fat cells that are small and they duplicate. And so you get more of them. So they don't get too big. Those are the fat cells that don't usually, they're not a problem. The ones that grow really big are the ones where you establish and find insulin resistance. The fat cells start to leak cytokines. So you start to have this inflammation in your body. And that's not what we want. So those are hypertrophic, and then you have hyperplasia, which are the smaller fat cells. Inside of those fat cells, okay, I'm going to say this a couple of times because this is where no one's talking about. Inside of those fat cells, you have enzymes, right? And fat cells are endocrine gland. There's signaling constantly going on in our fat cells. So it's not just a blob just sitting there. There's communication. There's life taking place in the fat cells. And so there's an enzyme in there that when GLP-1 is up, the fat cell, the enzymes keeps the fat cell. Well, it helps to shrink the fat cell, and it keeps the fat cell small. So when GLP-1 is up, that's what this drug does. Or if you're eating the way we encourage through regular food, when GLP-1 is up, that fat cell shrinks and it stays small. So let's say that you drop 30 pounds, maybe 40 pounds, maybe 20 pounds, and then you stop taking the drug. A lot of those fat cells got small, and then there was duplications. So you have more fat cells, but there are small ones that aren't a problem. But as soon as you turn off that enzyme and the fat cell is not constructed to stay small, boom, it's going to get big and it's going to grow rapidly. And you're going to have all these problems. So if you lost like 20 pounds, you gain the 20 back and maybe 10 or maybe 20 more. You're going to be ravenous when it comes to hunger because you don't have anything helping you. You never learn how to eat. So you're out of control. And you probably created some major damage in your gut. And who knows, maybe signaled and turned on some of those cancer cells. And 2 years later, you got thyroid cancer. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. But people are all about making money. And then, 3 weeks ago, the American Academy of Pediatrics comes out and they said it's okay to give kids these drugs. If they're obese and you're concerned about their weight, Let's get them on the prescription at 8. When you get on it, we don't know the effects 10 years from now. You're probably going to stay on it. It's like I've had some clients, I've gotten a lot of people off metformin, but when you consume metformin, and I know exactly how metformin works in the body, and there's some doctors that prescribe it like it's candy, and they got people convinced because they got the white coat, and they got the energy, and they influence people. And if you're on that for a while, that drug is taking the place of what your body would naturally do. And when your body no longer is naturally doing that, and you eventually want to get off that drug, we may not be able to reactivate what your body would naturally do. Now you have to take that drug. You guys, at the end of the day, we have to become our own health advocates. The first time I heard that was from Dr. Bernadette Anderson, very wise lady. I had the privilege to work with her. She was a client at one point, and I find her to be very motivated, because not only did she end up losing about 165 pounds, she's kept it off, and she's thriving, and she's a good person. She ain't gonna be out there rushing people to get these drugs, because she knows that through education and learning how to eat, giving yourself a chance to learn how to eat and navigate around food, things can work out without taking these drugs, and you can maximize life. Or you take these drugs for the temporary short-term fix and watch all the problems you're going to have. Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. That's what he said. With the emerging science of the gut microbiome, we know that over 2,000 years ago, what he said is true. In the very near future, no matter what you have to get dealt with, if they treat that, they got to treat the gut also. 70% of your immune system is your gut microbiome. 70%. And when my feelings of pleasure and mood is produced in my gut, and now I'm taking some antidepressant that's creating disruption in my gut, and it's taking the place of what my body would naturally produce, there's a problem there. Now, Hippocrates also said, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. So if thy food is my medicine is the food, why am I taking a drug that is creating disruption in my gut microbiome? This messing up what my gut would do. So as gastroenterologists become more and more sophisticated in this area, they're going to be arguing with bariatric surgeons. They're going to be arguing with people who are pushing these drugs, because they are seeing it. I mean, have you noticed that more people today than ever in history, since we've been recording, are getting colon cancer? Think about it. How did this happen? Like what's going on? Is it the air? Or do you think it has something to do with what we're consuming or what we're not consuming? And maybe on top of that, what the drugs are doing, and a lot of these supplements that people take. Now, I'm okay with some supplements, but I have clients and people that I talk to on a regular basis. They're taking supplements all day. Where's the real food? Oh my God. Now, when you're making money because you're selling a supplement, I get it. You got pulled in for the money. The whole livelihood is about food. My work and what we're doing in our next trial is all about food. It's not about take this pill and that pill. It's about food. And every time we do these trials, the outcome is absolutely fabulous. People feel better, look younger, energy's better. Oh, this is great. This is the best thing ever, Robert. It wasn't because they took a pill. It wasn't because of a powder or a liquid. It was about food. But we're in a place right now where everyone is just rushing to take the next, I don't know, drug. We saw this take place with this pandemic. Companies made billions and billions of dollars. Wow. And it's like get another one, take another one, take another one. Jeez. And then you have FOMO, fear of missing out, taking place with these diabetic drugs because people are losing weight. Oh, I'm gonna save my money. I need $1,300. I need that, instead of learning how to eat. Is it a lack of humility, or is it really just low self-esteem? I don't know. I really don't know. I just find it sad. And if you hear me and if you research everything that I said and you come to the conclusion, damn, he was on point. Or if you know me, you say, hey, I want to read some of those research papers, I'll give them to you. If my mom called me right now, hey, I'm going to get this. Nope, you're not. No, you're not getting that drug. Now she's 91 and she thinks maybe I got a year left of life. Okay, do what you want. But when you care about someone, to include yourself, you ain't gonna be taking that stuff. But if you have low self-esteem, I get it. I get it. Because you're looking for validation somewhere and you don't want to slow down and breathe. It's like we have this challenge, and I'll end on this. And our 8-week fat loss challenges, I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing it with everybody. And we are moving into day 4. And so part of the challenge is, you need about 5-10 minutes every day to participate. So you must slow down, digest the information, and then apply it. But here's why you want to slow down, because you're doing it for you. Why are you doing it for you? Because you actually love yourself. I love myself. And that is a short definition of self-esteem. How much do you love yourself? Because I see people on Instagram talking about loving themselves and all that, but their actions are not supportive of showing how much they love themselves. If you love yourself, do the things that show that you love yourself. In my closing, as I was talking to my client, I brought this up and I was congratulating her on her getting at the 40-pound mark. And I told her about the study of self-esteem. And I said, when you love yourself, you really will go the extra mile and you'll be consistent. And my analogy, or the example I gave, and I said, think about when you first started dating your husband. He held your hand a certain way. He did certain things, certain surprises were there, and you felt the love. And when you do something and it works, you keep doing it. So when my clients lose 2 pounds in a week, they go, I said, what do we do now? I go, what do you mean? If whatever you did, let's do it again. Well, shouldn't I do? No, do what you just did, but do it better. The same as when he held her hand a certain way and he showed the love a certain way. That relationship was gold. But then we quit doing what works. And now they sit on one end of the couch and the others on the other end of the couch. I know what that feels like. And I would have to say that in some of my relationships, I stopped doing what was working. So I take full blame of it. And for those of you who are married, recently married, getting married, just keep doing the things that you know work. And when you start following the Diet for Your Life methodology and you're working with us and you make a fat burning meal and you wake up better and you feel better and you're starting the weight's coming off and your push-ups are better and your squats are better and everything is better, don't stop doing what you're doing because it works. And nobody has to go to college to know that. Okay. Thank you, guys. I didn't come on. I didn't think I was going to be on here this long. I really thought I was going to come on like a quick 5-10 minutes because I'm going to the jacuzzi. I like the jacuzzi, so I need some jacuzzi time. Okay. Shout out to Lacey Green. So if you know Lacey and you're catching this, say, "Hey, Robert said jacuzzi," and she will laugh as soon as you say it. Okay. All right. Who do we have? Who do I get to catch? Okay, Stephanie Joe. What's up? What is going on, my friend? Jennifer Starnes, this is crazy, but thank you for being here. Holly, thank you. Good to see you there. Some of the names I don't always see depending on where you're catching this. But again, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And you know what? Do me a favor. Hit that share button so someone else will hear this conversation and maybe they'll get something out of it. But just because you shared, you may be impacting someone that would probably be buying or getting this drug. But now they can bring some of these questions to the doctor just by sharing. I mean, if they give me a chance and I didn't take too long to get to the point, then they'll get it. And they'll be like, "Ooh, I didn't know all of that." Especially when it comes to the fat cells, because that's the truth. And you're not going to meet doctors that can speak on that. Not that they're dumb, because they're not. They're smart and they put in their energy and the time. It's just not part of what they do. They're not looking at the fat cells. I was coined America's fat loss coach. So it's important that I know about the fat cells. And I'm constantly learning and training and taking classes and courses and working with people and working with our coaches and just learning and I'm constantly reading and constantly challenging myself to take it to the next level. So the fat cell, I'm intrigued, and I've interviewed some of the leading scientists in the world when it comes to fat cells. The people who wrote the books on it are friends of mine. I have their books. I talk to them. I'm driving to LA and I get them on the phone and I challenge things with them. And they go, "Oh, you know what? Let me get back to you." And so then I don't keep that to myself. I want to share that with you. With you. One more time. With you. All right, let me see. Someone said, Jerry says, "Robert, you are an inspiration to so many." You know what? Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. I mean, that really means a lot. Holly says, "I'm on both Ozempic and metformin." You know what, Holly? I'm glad you brought that up because I was telling one of my coaches that I am going to actually start offering a program to get people off Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, when it makes sense. So you should reach out to me. We can get on the phone for like 5 minutes. I'll ask a few questions and I'll know if it's probably best for you to get off of it. But you want to get off if you can. And again, I have a couple of my clients, and I have one I'm actually trying to get Mounjaro as a product for them because it's necessary based on their situation. But that's 1% of the population. 99.9% get off of it. Seriously, just get off. But transition, have a plan. Don't just get off and just allow things to just like throwing it up in the wind. And so I'm literally going to create a program. So if someone paid, and I'm not saying I would charge you this, but if someone paid $1,300 for a month, they should pay me $2,600 for that month. I'm not going to do that. But really, if you think about it, I'm going to save them a lot of agony, a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. And that's worth more than what they pay for the drug. Now, I get that maybe their insurance paid for it, but again, I'm not going to charge people that. I'm just throwing a hypothetical. My goal is to help people, and I'm going to put it out there. And then I'm going to talk to my publicist, and we're going to do some TV shows where I'm going to start talking about the negatives of it and how I'm going to help people get off of these drugs. So the ones who get on, and a lot of celebrities, a lot of people with a ton of money, or people who are fortunate enough, maybe their insurance got it for them, but I'm going to help people get off. That's actually going to become one of my new programs in the next couple of months. You'll see me talking about it. And I'm going to put it out there, and people around the world are going to like flock, and they're going to come, and I'm going to help them. I mean, watch, mark my words. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly, but it's part of the plan. Not right now, because I'm in this 8-week fat loss challenge and I'm having a blast with it. And we have a whole bunch of other stuff going on, and we're getting ready to go to Memphis and do some amazing things. And then it's going to be other cities we're going to. I mean, we're on fire, man. We're on fire. Okay, so let me look one more time before I say goodbye. So let's see. You said Ozempic and Jardiance is over the too expensive for me, even with insurance. Okay, well, I'm glad you're not on it, so we'll help you out. Okay. All right, you guys, have a great evening. Thank you. And again, share this. Just hit the button share, and somebody will maybe watch and listen. You know, in a few days, you won't even see it on your page, but you never know who may get it. I'm not selling a book. I'm not trying to sell. I'm just sharing real information to help some people. The only thing that I do have available, well, not the only thing, but something that I'm in right now is our 8-week fat loss challenge. And anyone who wants to get rid of some body fat and learn, hey, and day 4, everybody who's in the challenge that is catching this, you're going to love day 4, because I take you inside of the cells and show you how insulin and glucose work. Yeah, you're going to like, it's going to make a whole bunch of sense. So day 4 of the 8-week fat loss challenge, it's one of my favorite days because you're well off into the challenge, and then you're going to learn something really cool. And then I follow up on day 5 with something pretty exciting too. So until the next one, I'm Robert Ferguson. How does one get off metformin a day? 1 metformin a day. Carol, reach out to me. We had 123 people in 2022 completely get off metformin. I had people doing 2,000 milligrams a day. We had gone down to 1,000, 500, 250. Then they're all off. And they were told they would never get off. We got them all off. That was just me, not counting the other coaches that I work with. If I looked at all the other coaches, they got people off metformin. But just me, over 100 people. And over 100 people off blood pressure medication. And 15 people off statins. Boom. That's real. And these clients were told they will never get off statins. They'll never get off blood pressure medication. They'll never get off metformin. And they're all off. I mean, you can't even, what can you say about that? So if someone catches this and they're on metformin, if they're taking statins, if they're taking blood pressure medication, why wouldn't they reach out to me? Unless they just want to keep taking it. Doesn't make sense to me, because it's not like I'm going to have you take another drug to get off. We're going to get you off because, as Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be